This is the Consumer Protection Act 1986. We will discuss in brief about this because we should also discuss the Consumer Protection Act 2019. But actually, the foundation was laid in this act. So let's talk about Consumer Protection Act 1986. This act was passed to promote and protect the rights of customers. It seeks to provide a speedy and simple redressal to consumer grievances. The Consumer Protection Act has specified consumer rights given above. It provides for the setting up of a three-tier quasi-judicial machinery. This machinery has provided, been authorized to provide time-bound relief to consumers. Remedies available to an aggrieved consumer are removal of defects in goods or deficiency in service. According to the Consumer Protection Act, if there are defects in goods or deficiency in service, the customers can complain about that, and replacement of defective goods with new goods of similar description. Obviously, the customers can always ask for replacement of these goods and refund of price by the seller. So customers and consumers can also ask for a refund. So there's a removal of the defect goods and replacement of those defect goods. There's refund of the price by the seller if it is undercharged or overcharged. Payment of compensation by seller for any loss suffered by the customer or consumers, withdrawal of hazardous goods from the market. If there's any complaint which comes that there's hazardous products sold by sellers, so they have to remove that according to the Consumer Protection Act. Discontinuance of any unfair restrictive trade practices. So if found there are unfair trade practices, those practices shall be removed under this act. So the Consumer Protection Act, which is still the same till today, even in Consumer Protection Act 2019, they do have a district forum at a district level, and this district forum, which is run by the state government, and this will address the grievances and problems of the customers at the lower level. So each district forum consists of a chairman, two members appointed by the state government, etc. You can read on. A district forum can receive the complaints where the value of goods or services and compensation claim is not more than 25 lakhs. We will see in the 2019 regarding that amount. Then the complaint can be filed by a consumer to whom goods are sold or services rendered. So the consumer can file a complaint in this district forum. So any consumer can do that, okay, by specifying the amount as well. And on receiving the complaint, this forum will again refer this complaint to the opposite party, which means you as a buyer and the seller shall be also informed by the district forum and ask for testing, ask for sample and examination if the complaint is really genuine. Okay, so that is done by the district forum, and then this forum, if after seeing the case that there are actually some defective unfair trade practices, etc., then this forum can take action against the seller, or this forum will ask for replacement and repayment and compensation or removal of. And if at the state level we have a state commission, which is again set up by the state government, and it has to follow the Consumer Protection Act 2019 and 1986 as well. So the 2019, there are few changes here and there, but the the forums at these consumer forums and commissions are the same at every level, so no surprise. Okay, so the state commissions consists of a president and a judge in a high court, and two other members, and then we have the only those complaints can be filed. Again, we have to see the value if it is revised in the 2019, whether it's 20 lakhs or not. So like I said earlier, there should be a value for complaining in these forums or commissions. As we have read earlier, it is 25 lakhs in the district forums, and in the state commission in the 1986 Act it is 20 lakhs, and between 20 and 100 lakhs. So we will have to check that in the 2019. Then the state commission is required to also do the same, just like the district commission. The state commission will communicate with the opposite party and ask for sample and check and examine in the lab if the complaint is true. Okay, and then after that, if seen there are defectives and unfair trade practices, it will take action against the seller and ask for replacement or removal of the products on return of the price paid if it is overcharged. Then we have the National Commission, which is which is set up by the central government, and again the National Commission is for all, so obviously this will be a big case, a big amount. Okay, so as you can see in the point, okay, let's see first who are the bearers. President, we have the judge of the Supreme Court and 4 other members appointed by the central government, and the complaint should be above 800 lakhs in this case to file a case against a seller or business persons, okay, at the national level. So 100 lakhs in the 1986, again we'll have to see the revision of that amount. The National Commission shall have the same power as that of civil court in dealing with the cases and follow procedures prescribed by the central government. So the National Commission has been given the power just like a civil court, so which means it's going to deal on its own, is going to give a verdict on its own. The National Commission has the power to issue orders for recall of defective or unsafe products, or for replacement or removal of deficiency in service. So in all these things can be done by the National Commission to repay, to reimburse, to refund or replace the product. All right. Who is the consumer according to the Consumer Protection Act 1986? Well, this is the Consumer Protection Act 2019. As you can see here, an act to provide for protection of the interests of consumers and for the set purpose to establish authorities of timely and effective administration and settlement of consumers' disputes and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. According to this act, the term consumer is defined differently if we compare with the 1986. If you have your books, you can check that. Okay, this statement is more or less the same, as you can see here, that consumer means those who buys any goods for consideration which has been paid or promised or partly paid, etc., or maybe who will pay in the future but promise to pay. Okay, who buys goods for consideration, which means for a price, and this price will be paid now, partly, fully, or maybe in the future. And it mentions specifically about this, but does not include a person who obtains such goods for resale or for any commercial purpose. So a consumer is not the one who buys for resale. Okay, so that is specifically mentioned here. And another thing which they had clarified with this new definition of a consumer, okay, and that is a buyer of goods, and in case of service it says a consumer means anyone who hires or avails of any service For consideration, again, the term consideration means payment, price, and this price shall be paid fully or partly, a promise to be paid in the future. And it also mention the same thing for the service. It doesn't mean that it means that those who use the service for a commercial purpose is not a consumer. That should be clear. I will send you this act to you so that you will read. And okay, you should also see this very important point that which is added in this act. It says, for the purpose of this clause, expression of commercial purpose does not include any use by a person of goods bought and used by him exclusively for the purpose of earning his livelihood by means of self-employment. So when we say commercial purpose, means resale or use the service for livelihood. That is, whoever does that is not considered a consumer. Okay, but this is very important for you. This is very important. So read this line. The part B of this explanation says that the expression buys any goods or hires a service, buys good or user of the service or avails any service, includes offline and online transactions through electronic means or by teleshopping or direct selling or multi-level marketing. This is something very important because in the 1986, obviously we don't have any online shopping. So in the 2019 they have added the term online transactions to be included in the term consumer. So which means we can address the problem of consumers now in the for those who are actually buying things online or having an online transactions. They can file a complaint and they can still use this act as a protection. Okay, so that is I will just give you a glimpse of it, of the act, and we will not be able to discuss in details. According to the Consumer Protection Act 2019, they had come up with the term council, as you can see here, the Consumer Protection Council, and this council is established by the central government, and it shall be known as a central council, and it includes of minister in charge of the Department of Consumer Affairs in the central government, who shall be the chairperson, and some other officials. Now the central council shall meet, and when necessary, but at least one meeting of the council shall be held every year. So which means this council is a central body of the consumer forum. And it also says in the number 6, it says that every state government shall also have to establish the State Consumer Protection Council. We have this central council, and now we can also have the State Council, because the State Consumer Protection Council is known as the State Council. Okay, you can see here, State Council. So at the central government, at the center we have the Central Council, and at the state we have the State Council. This council consists of minister in charge of the consumer affairs in the state government, and who will be some other officials. They also should conduct a state meeting just like the central government every year annually. And now this council or the state government shall establish, if you read the point 8 here, in every district with effect from such date, the District Consumer Protection Council. The District Consumer Protection Council, or simply District Council. So this district council is at the district level. Okay, Again, we have officials here. As you can see, we have this council is the advisory council, and the collector of the district shall be the chairperson and some other officials. And again, they should have regular meetings and dealings. Now, this district council shall give a service on advice on promotion and protection of the consumer rights. So obviously the council means the one which looks after the awareness programs and the consumer forums, etc. So again, we have in this act details of these three of these councils in detail, so we will not be able to discuss those things. And another interesting thing, that is the chapter 4 of this act, it mentions about the Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. Now this commission is to take care of every complaints they get from the consumers. So the state government should establish this district consumer disputes redressal commission, to be known as a district commission. So in each district we do have a district commission. Now it says that the state government can establish more than one district commission, and the officials should be a president and other two, and more than that we have members prescribed by the central government as well. So we have the details, but we will not discuss all of these details. And in the chapter 5, you'll see that the state government can establish a consumer mediation cell, okay, to each of the district commission and state commission. I skip one part, that is the state commission. We can have a state commission and a district commission, just like in the 1986 one. So it is the same thing like I said before. Okay, so apart from that, this mediation cell, okay, which is in these commissions, shall be the one which can take care of the commission as a whole. And if you read the point 5 here, you will see that every consumer mediation cell shall submit a quarterly report to the district commission, state commission, or the national commission, which means there's a detail of information to be sent to the central government with regard to the function of these commissions. And now these cells established are called as mediators, because they maintain the relationship between the consumer and these commissions. Now interestingly, you'll see that these cells shall have a list of those empaneled mediators, which are persons. The role of these mediators is to settle the case between the buyer and the seller. So this cell will look after that. Okay. In the 2019, we see that they mention about product liability. So the product liability should mean this, okay, which means if the consumer files a complaint, they should see that the product, which is contains a manufacturing defect. They can take up a complaint, and the product is defective in design, or there is a deviation between the deviation from the manufacturing specification, which means as per mention, the products doesn't seems to be as per claim. The product does not conform to the express warranty, and the product fails to functions of correct usage to prevent any harm or warning regarding proper or incorrect usage. Here you can read about a service. A consumer can file a complaint against a service which is found faulty or imperfect or deficient or inadequate in quality, nature, or manner of performance, etc. And there was or commission or negligence or conscious withholding in information which cause harm, and the service provider did not issue adequate instructions or warnings to prevent any harm. The service did not conform to express warranty or terms and conditions of the contract. In the point 94 under the chapters 8 miscellaneous, it mentioned again, okay, for the purpose of preventing unfair trade practices in e-commerce, direct selling, and also to protect the interests and rights of consumers, the central government may take such measures in a manner as may be prescribed. So he mentioned about e-commerce here, so which means that the act is updated to the recent to the trend, to the emerging business. So therefore that is why act has to be amended from time to time. So because otherwise, if it is not amended, then the online consumers will suffer because they have nothing to defend. So but this, I would say, this act is well well thought plan, well thought act. Well, you can ask who can file a complaint. The complainant means a consumer or a voluntary association, or central government or state government or central authority, one or more customers, or maybe a group of customers. And in case of death of a consumer, whoever is the legal representative can also file a complaint. And in case the consumer is a minor, his parent or legal guardian can file a complaint, as you can see there in point number 7. So a complaint means an unfair contract or unfair trade practice or restrictive trade practices, or maybe the goods bought by him or agreed to be bought by him suffer from some defects. The service hired or availed or agreed to be hired or availed by him suffer from any deficiency. Now, very importantly, we will that as per the syllabus, we should discuss consumer rights. So the consumer rights, according to the Consumer Protection Act 2019, sorry, I always mention 1986, it's 2019. I should write here 2019, or might forget. Alright, consumer rights according to the 2019 Act, it says the right to be protected against marketing of goods, products, or services which are hazardous to life and property. Okay, so consumers are allowed to file a complaint, and they have the right to complain if those products or even a service is hazardous to life and hazardous to any property, or harm, it is dangerous, I would say. And another thing is the right to be informed. Just like 1986, it is the same thing here. All consumers should be informed about their rights. Okay, not just the rights, but the informations regarding the products. So the quality, the quantity, the potency, purity, standard, price, etc. Next, the right to be assured, wherever possible, access to a variety of goods, products, or services at competitive prices. So every consumer has the right to be assured of the price of the products or the service, price of the service. Okay, and they have the right to access to these products and goods, which means they can choose any goods, any products of their choice, whether it's more than a price, less than a price, or similar products, or the same category of products. Like shampoos, there are so many shampoos in a store, you can choose any, but the seller cannot force a buyer to choose specifically just one product. Okay, the right to be heard means all consumers shall be made known about their interests, and they need to know that they need to know about the price, they need to know about the product, so they have the right to be heard, which means the seller and manufacturers should not be lazy enough to inform, and consumers have the right to be heard before they make any purchase, the right to seek redressal, and consumers are also given a chance, given actually the right to file a complaint, such unfair trade practices, or if goods or products or service found to be defective. The right to consumer awareness. Every consumer has the right to be given awareness, and that is why it is also the duty of consumers to seek awareness, and it is also the duty of sellers and buyers and NGOs, and also the consumer groups or forums to give awareness to the consumers. So all consumers need to be aware. So these are 6 points with regard to the consumer rights in the 2019 Act. In this slide, I just want to bring up the highlights of the 2019 Act. It says it covers the e-commerce transactions, like we have read, and it also talks about the amount. Okay, and if you read here, there's okay. Now the district forum can take up cases. See, district forum can now entertain consumer complaints of this amount, of 10 crore amount, which is 10 million, and the state commission can entertain a dispute of the amount between the 10 crore and 100 crore, while the national commission can take up any can entertain cases which cost the amount of more than 100 crore, which is 100 million. Okay, that's interesting. So there's a change in the amount, like I mentioned before. So e-filing, which means the consumers can also opt for e-filing of complaints. They don't need to go to these forums, so they can use websites in order to file a complaint, or they can use a video conferencing to file a complaint. So e-filing, and establishment of the Central Consumer Protection Authority, or the CCPA, and the SCPA, which is the Central Council. At the center we have the Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA, which is headed by the Director General, and this body is given the power to take a suo motu action to call products, or the reimbursement of price of goods, and etc. Product liability I have already discussed, so I will not discuss about that again. What do you mean about unfair trade practices? Okay, you can read there. Penalties for misleading advertisement is also updated in the Act, and provision for alternate dispute resolution is also updated. Okay. Difference and the comparison between the two acts, the 1986 and the 2019. See, these are some of the key points when it comes to pecuniary jurisdiction. We have the district forum, which deals with up to 20 lakhs, and state commission up to 20 to 1 crore, and national commission from 1 crore above. But in the new act, we have seen updates that the district forum can also take up to 1 crore, state commission can take up 1 crore to 10 crore national commission for the amount of 10 crore and above. And the MRP purchase price, earlier MRP was criteria to decide the pecuniary jurisdiction, but now discounted price and actual purchase price is criteria. So usually we dealt with the MRP in the 1986, but now we have to also see that there are sometimes the sellers just sell at a discount price. So we have to see the actual purchase is, so we have to set criteria for that. So in the Old Act, when it comes to territorial jurisdiction, seller has office, but here we have a complainant which resides or works, which means a consumer can file a complaint from anywhere, any place where he stays, where he works. But in the Old Act, they will have to go to an office and file a complaint. Okay, and regulator, and no such provision in the Old Act. In the New Act, we have the Central Consumer Protection Authority to be formed, the CCPA, which is formed. The CCPA, which is the central body which looks after all councils and commissions of the which falls under the Consumer Act. Mediation, we have a mediation cell. We have discussed that in the New Act. Appeal, now appeal, in the Old Act, earlier 30 days period was given, okay, for appeal against the order of district forum, and now it is, okay, earlier it was 50% or 25,000, whichever is less to be deposited, but now it is 50% of the award amount. So interesting. E-commerce, earlier no specific mentioned, but now they do have mention of e-commerce and online transactions. Review, we have okay, I'll skip that. And unfair term, so I'll just browse so that you can read this. I'll just read the important points only. Authority, earlier we have the District Consumer Forum, State Consumer Forum, the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, but now we have the District Commission, State Commission, National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, which is one of the same thing, but the term now is just District Commission. Don't need to mention everything. State Commission and National Commission. And so with regard to that, no changes actually. Okay, the composition of officials, here we have a slight difference. President and 2 other members, but now we have president and 4 other members. Okay, when it comes to State Commission. All right, so we have the district, the state, and the National Commission, and at the top we have the CCPA. Okay, so that's it with regard to the Consumer Protection Act 2019 and the differences between the 2 acts, old and the new ones. I think we have covered everything.
Oh